creators, be very, very careful. Only use the studio music. And
I was like, just hello, good evening. I figured I would lighten up the mood a little bit before we got started here. I always love that one. That one makes me smile. So anyway, hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. Hello, Millie. Hello, Not Crazy. Reach for the Sky. Hello. How's everybody doing this afternoon? And Not Crazy? Hello, thank you. The music made you jump. Oh my goodness. So I thought I would come on here and talk to y'all a little bit. I got a request to do another stalking one. Actually, this one is very, very sad, and I can literally show y'all a real true life story in a video today. And this one come out of the UK, and laws were actually changed over there because of this one right here. Very sad, very sad. There will be some triggering moments in this one. And then I went through and did some research today, so I will be reading a lot of stuff I put together, and it is very sad. Hello, Moonflower. Hello, everybody coming in. Thank you. Yeah, this stuff is difficult. It is very difficult. But you know what? I had a lot of positive things going on at my live the other night, and a lot of positive feedback. And it's so real. It really is so real. So I wanted to talk again on the stalking. Again, I got a lot of good feedback about it. And that's the purpose of everything, is to be here to help somebody if I can, right? Hey, Dina. Hello. Welcome in. And it's a shame that we have to do it this way. But these stories need to be told, I feel like. And I was asked if I could talk about her. Her name is Alice Ruggles. And so here we are. Thank you, Millie. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you all for being here. Hey, Jam 420. Hello. And a lot of people got to talk the other night in the chat, and it's very alarming at the same time to see that a lot of people we know have been through this, unfortunately. But a lot of people have survived and overcome. Well, if you ever overcome. There's so many different levels of stalking. Hey, Jude. Welcome. And it could be anybody. It could literally be anybody. Look, this stalker, I'm not going to use his name much. He's not even worthy. He's not. Again, this is Stalker Awareness Month, and I was reminded the other night, I don't have to just talk about this when it's Stalker Awareness Month. I don't have to just talk about something because it's HIV month or Mental Health Awareness Month. I can talk about what I want when I want. If I feel the notion, or somebody brings it to me, or I feel like it'll help somebody, we can talk about what we want to. You never know when somebody might need to hear it, right? You yourself may be going through it, or somebody you know, or somebody might just be passing through, needs to hear it. It's true, Millie. Sadly, this happens every day, unfortunately. Unfortunately. And it's serious. Every single day. It's very real, and it's a very part of life, and it's a serious matter. It's not funny. It's not a joke. It damages every aspect of your life, of your family's life, your physical and mental health. It don't feel good. It don't. Alice was a very beautiful young lady. As you can see, she was on my thumbnail. We're going to, and also I have her on here as well in case I decide to put it down. Look at that. I'll leave that up for a little bit. Oh, well, no, I'll take it down because I want to show y'all something. She, very beautiful, very beautiful. I also have some more. Look at that. It's full of life. Hold on. Look at that. Always smiling. Look. Sweet. Beautiful. I mean, there was so many more, but just look at that. Beautiful. Pure beauty. And she loved life from what I understand, and everything that I could see. She loved life for sure. She had this very beautiful, outgoing, infectious personality. They said that was bigger than this whole wide world. They said she would light up any room. She loved life. She loved her friends. She loved her family and her job. She loved everything about life. Everything that I read about her, she loved it. She was very outgoing. She was very happy. You know, when somebody passes away or they're gone or they're missing, these are the kind of things that I love to read about them. I love to get to know the victim. I love to know this. And there's a lot to know about her. She had so much joy in her. She had so much to live for. But tragically, she had her life taken in Gatehead. Again, this is over in the UK. And this happened October 12th of 2016. And she was 24 years old. She was young. Again, she had her whole life to live for. We're going to go back. We're going to watch some video. But before I do that, hey, Justin. Hello. Love to you. Thank you. But on April 26th of 2017, I'm going to say, I think his name is Tryman. I'm not going to even call his name because he's not worthy. You'll just hear me say he or whatever. He was actually convicted of this unaliving of Alice, and he was sentenced to life in prison. But he got a minimum of 22 years. The only thing I tried to tweak in this a little bit is because they don't use terms, they use PIN number for case number and stuff like that. So I tried to make it as much as I could, but I tried to be fair because we have people listening from there too. But he was very controlling. His behavior during their brief, they had a brief, And unfortunately, a brief relationship and stalking comes from that aspect too. And it started after this relentless, yucky stalking, you know, campaign that he was decided he was going to waver. After she tried to get away from him. But her family and her friends and her coworkers, they will always remember her as she was this bright, happy, and outgoing, beautiful girl. They said she had a beautiful heart and a beautiful personality. And she had this ability, like I said, to cheer up anyone and light up this room, any room she walked into, and to cheer up anyone when they were down. And they said she was a brilliant listener, and she genuinely was empathetic with anybody that needed that. They said she made friends wherever she went. Have you ever just been around somebody that they just they just could meet anybody and be friends with them? I have. I love that type of person, man. I do. Some people just carry their self like that, and they could just love everybody. They had nothing but good things to say about her. Alice was the third of 4 children, and she grew up with her sister and brothers, and they were all a very tight-knit family. They were all very close. But she made her presence known. Hey, Guidance and everybody coming in. They say she made her presence known, and that was just natural for her. Oh, they said she had jokes. She had jokes, if not a little mischievous sometimes. They say she loved to karaoke, and she sang in school concerts. And they say she even helped younger kids at her school organize a school ball one time. And she was so proud of that. Those younger kids didn't get on her nerves. She wasn't better than. That's what I got out of all that. Seemed like she just had a loving, caring heart. In 2016, Alice began this brief relationship with this guy. And Alice had been introduced to him online by a mutual friend. And that was while he was serving in the army or the military. In the military. And, you think these military people, hey, they're serving in the military. They must be good, right? He was serving in the military in Afghanistan. And at that time, he was starting to show, even then, controlling behaviors. Okay? He was always expecting Alice to be right there every time to answer his phone calls. So he was, I would say, controlling. Or he would make snide remarks and comments of how she looked and how, he would try to undermine her and her confidence. But she didn't, if you're not used to that kind of stuff, I'm sure people know, they, sometimes you try to overlook that stuff in people. You try to give people the benefit of the doubt. So then, after that, he returned back home in April. But then he started showing up unannounced and unexpectedly. And when she was with her friends, he would just pop up, Now, at first, you might think, well, isn't that cute? Isn't that nice? Oh, I'm glad he likes my friends. I'm glad he, you know, you might think something like that. I don't know. But when you start noticing, over and over and over, what in the hell? I can't go nowhere. He's, you know, this is a little strange now. He would then start persuading her when he would show up to leave with him, leaving her friends, right? He tried to isolate her. That's what he tried to do. He tried to isolate her from everybody that she knew, and he tried to make her independent on him and only him. See where this is going? Recognize the signs? Because that's what we're here for, is to learn. Because if you don't know, these things really happen in real life. So then at that point, y'all, she was marked, if you will. She didn't even realize it, probably. She fell out with her roommates. She moved out, from where she lived, and she stopped being this happy, outgoing girl. She moved out and she started being lonely and miserable. People started to notice she was affected by these things. Her life started being affected. She became withdrawn. And her family noticed these things. But they noticed how unhappy she really was during a family holiday. And at that family holiday, then it was then that another woman contacted Alice, because Alice's boyfriend, or this man at that time, had befriended this woman on a dating site. An online dating site, you don't say. And it was then, after learning this, that Alice ended her relationship, or so she thought she was going to. That's when things got really, really, really bad. He could not accept the rejection. He was not gonna accept the rejection. Although he was doing all the bad things, right? He could not and would not accept no for an answer. Welcome in, everybody. We're talking about a real, true stalking case that happened, and it didn't end so well. Now, let me explain something to you, men, women, people. Smiley's going to explain this to you. No is simple. N-O means no, not yes. No means exactly no. No is not foreplay. No is not come anyway. No is not playing. It's not playing hard to get. I don't care if it's sex. I don't care if it's no, I don't want to sit down. I don't care if it's no, I don't want to bite. I don't care if it's no, I don't want to go there. No means no. Got it? No, I don't like opera. And no, you don't force it on nobody. Does that mean no is forever? No, it don't. I may say no and an hour later come back and want a bite of that apple. Okay? I may come back tomorrow and want to hear that opera. But by God, if I tell you no, no means no, not yes. You don't force nothing on someone. And it's a crime. I don't care if it's your girlfriend. I don't care if it's your boyfriend. I don't care if it's your wife. I don't care if it's your husband. I don't give a damn. No means no. Just FYI. Let's get that clear. Moving on. This guy, he became obsessive and he could not take no for an answer. He didn't like rejection. Even though he was on dating sites, he could not simply move on. So he stalked Alice. He texted, he called, he sent emails, he left voice messages non-stop. Non-stop. He would do it from different phone numbers and emails and different sources. Some he would profess his undying love for her. And just FYI, sometimes that can be a lot scary too, right? In others, he would use emotional blackmail. In others, he used the phone to try to guilt her and say he was going to unalive himself. Y'all don't want to even ask me how I feel about that, because you don't want Smiley's answer on that. I'm just being frank with you. And you can probably read between the lines, because you'd think I was a real bitch then. And you just might be right. None of that shit would work with Smiley. That last one I just read you would not fly with Smiley. He had become obsessed with Alice, and at first, her being this sweet, nice girl that was once so full of life, she tried to be nice and cordial and pleasant. And I can understand that. I used to be that person. I said used to be. Then she tried to ignore him and his messages, but that didn't go over too well with him at all. He started then to contact family members and friends. He thought that was going to work out for him. He tried to ruin her. He tried to ruin her life, her reputation, anything about her he could do to anyone that may or may not give a care. He tried to do. Hey, True Crime Tribe. He tried to convince them at first to try to get her to talk to him and meet him and go back to him. He pulled out all the stops. He wanted everybody to try to influence her. Hey, Mama Bear. Because she did all the wrong, not him. That's what he was telling everybody, of course. Look, you can't help who you love and like, but you sure as hell can't control who somebody's going to be with and who they're not. No means no. And you sure ain't going to make somebody else make that person be with you. That's a fact. Then he hacked into all of her social media and her emails, her phones, and everything, and he threatened to release compromising photos that he secretly had taken, and he was reading her messages in order to track her whereabouts. This is a case that happened on stalking over in the UK. They even changed laws on it because of this. And we're going to watch a video in a minute. But he was in the military. They met online through a friend. Yeah, she was briefly with him, and then she told him no, and then all hell broke loose. It was bad. 24 years old. He pulled out all the stops. So he took her emails and everything to know her whereabouts. He tracked her. And then in September, he found out she started a new relationship. She finally got the courage to start a new relationship. And boy, did he set out to destroy it. He tried his best. He contacted the new guy directly. He painted this whole false picture of her. And he was trying to deceive this guy into thinking Alice was this two-timing girl, something she definitely was not. And then September 30th, he repeatedly arrived at Alice's property, and he would ring her doorbell. So what he would do, he would ring her doorbell and run and hide. He did that several times, and every time she looked through the peephole, he was, of course, not there. He was trying to torture her and make her think she was crazy. One time, he climbed the fence in the backyard, what they call the back garden, and he knocked on her door at the ground floor window. She was laying in her bed, and when she opened the curtains, she literally saw him leaving flowers and chocolate candy on the windowsill, and then she saw him backing off from the window. Okay, so what she did was she started calling. At that time, let me back up. He started calling and leaving her these chilling phone calls that he wanted to unalive her, scaring her even more. So she finally contacted the police. That when she first contacted the police, they were very sympathetic to her, and they tried to reassure her, and they told her this could be stopped. Okay, so they told her that the incident over there, they call it a PIN number, which is like over here is a case number. So they gave her this PIN number, and then 7 days later, she reported he was still harassing her. But this time, the police was not as sympathetic, and it was not recorded, and it was not linked with the previous case, with the previous crime. Okay, so y'all see how frustrating this can be, right? This is kind of why I wanted you to watch that Tracy Thurman story the other day, because this is kind of how this sounds like this might have went. Only worse. Now, this was very frustrating. Y'all can see how it can be frustrating. So then Alice was then very distraught. She, thought nothing. She was confused. She thought, oh my God, nothing can be done. And she was scared. She didn't know what to do, honestly. She just didn't know what to do. She felt alone. But me, Smiley, I'm telling you, if for God forbid, if something happened and this ever happened to y'all, and I pray to God it never happens to y'all or nobody you know. But if this should ever happen to you and anything similar happens, like you feel like you're not getting nowhere, do not give up. You keep documenting and you leave a paper trail and you leave dates, you leave times, you journal everything, even your trips to LE, your phone calls to them, in case anything happens. Even when or if reports are not filed, and that goes along with anything in life. You do it so you can prove it, so you can say where you were, who you went to, you get names, you get badge numbers, because there are timestamps, there are cameras, there are road cameras. Do not just walk away and say you don't think you can do nothing, you don't know what to do. I know you feel like that. I know. I have been there. Just in life in general, where you think you can't do anything about nothing. But you can. And it's very important that you do. You don't just sit down and give up. Even when you think nobody does nothing, you keep pushing. And it's important to teach your kids that too. Don't be scared. It could also save somebody else's life. Remember that. It could also, hear me, it could also save somebody else's life. And you could die trying to save somebody else's life, but you could save many lives. But don't just sit down and say, you can't do nothing. You don't know what to do. But after that, 5 days later, unfortunately, he did take her life. 5 days later. 5 days later, unfortunately, he did take her life. So shame on them for not taking it serious. Shame on them for not taking it serious. And them not giving her a PIN number, or them maybe trying to run out of their job early, or whatever was on their mind that day. But the most important thing is, I think, is this. Somebody just didn't have the knowledge about stalking and harassing. I think it boils down to that. And they didn't take it serious. Whether it be the cops or not. Maybe this person just wasn't knowledgeable about stalking and didn't understand it and blew it off. But shame on them. Shame on these jobs and professionals for not giving their workers, especially police, EMS, the knowledge and the skills that they need to know about stalking. This is not something new. It happens every day in every country. But this right here, this girl right here, Alice, because her life was taken, laws were changed in that country. But it took her beautiful life to make that happen, unfortunately. And it's a shame. She could have been a lot of things. She had the personality. She had her full life in front of her. And someone not understanding harassment, stalking, even in a place of power, and not wanting to take the time to write a report or a PIN number, which is a case number, and follow up with this beautiful girl that's full of life. She's now unalive. She's gone forever. She was someone's child, someone's sister, and someone's friend. And people loved her and cared for her. And she made this world a better, brighter place. But now she's gone. At sentencing, this POS had made remarks to the judge. But the judge told him, you went to her flat. She was alone that night. And what you did will have you did terrify her. You knocked on the door on 3 separate occasions, each time slipping away. And then you climbed over a wall in the rear yard and you knocked on a bedroom window. And Miss Ruggles laid in her bed. She looked out to see you backing away, having left flowers and chocolate. As might be expected, she was shaken and scared, but that incident, then you called her repeatedly. But now you're saying you told her you did not intend to kill her. You were harassing her. You were stalking her. You were destroying her. That's what the judge said. That night, and trigger warning, that night, Alice called police, and it was evident because they have the video or the phone call to prove it. She called the police, and it was evident from the phone call, which is now in public domain, which is public record. She was calm and she was polite. She was almost apologetic, they said in court. But they did explain to her that she could take out an injunction. That was the night he came at the window, okay? That wasn't the last night. That's the night he came at the window. And they explained to her that she could take out an injunction. And they asked her if that's what she wanted. And she told them that she could. Yes, she could. Could she please get that if that was an option? She thought she was protected. And she regained her old self and her old confidence back. She was starting to get her life back, so she thought. She was happy again. That was the time she got the PIN number, the case number. And then, that's when she got this letter from him with a box through the military, because they had sent him a letter and, yada, yada, how the military police do whatever they do. And he said she had the police called on him. And despite all that, he sent her this package with this nasty letter. And, he's facing all these repercussions. And he's giving her the laptop and all the shit that reminded him of her, or whatever, her of him. And Everything that reminds me of you is what he said. As you belong to another man, wishing the two of you a happy life. That sound familiar, Millie? Wishing you two a happy life. It ain't funny. Millie knows what I'm talking about. Anyway, October. I'm sure she didn't shed no tears over it though, Millie. October 7th, she got that. She realized she was not being protected. She was made to feel that arresting him was possible, a very bad mistake, and was not an option. And she just tried to make sure that every day that her coworker drove her straight to the door, and she went in the front door and she double checked her locks right then and there, double locked herself in, and all those things. And but after dark, he would drive up to her house, and he would park, and he would still go ring her doorbell, and he would run, or when she picked out the door, like he did, right? And he still would climb over her garden, or her back to the garden, her fence to the garden, and knock on her window, leave flowers and chocolate candy and all the things. And all this while, he would still be doing this Dateline thing on the internet with these women. But around 6 o'clock this one night, he caught her off guard, and he climbed in through the garden, and he climbed in this back wall, and he forced his way through a kitchen window, and he picked up a very sharp knife. He cornered her in the bathroom so she could not get away. Y'all know what happened. Then 20 minutes later, she was laying there unalive. This harassing, stalking monster unalived her. Her roommate, Maxine, came home shortly after that and found her. But thanks to Maxine's quick action and all the information that Maxine had and knew everything that this poor girl had been through, they were able to catch this monster. They were able to catch him. And he was attempting to climb over a wall at that point. He was denied all access. Thank God, this is the way it should be here. He was denied all access to any kind of knowledge to her death and anything about this investigation, anything at all, newspapers, everything, TV, everything. But with all the overwhelming evidence, everything started to just pile up against him. It was no doubt, and he was quickly placed at the scene. But listen to this. He was unemotional, but he was also very arrogant. It was very breathtaking that they said how arrogant, how overly arrogant he showed he was. They said he was overly, breathtakingly arrogant, in fact. Of course, he denied the murder. He tried to say Alice attacked him. And of course, thank God somebody had common sense. The jury praised them. They rejected all of his BS. And again, he was sentenced to life in prison. I think this is horrible. But sadly, I'll tell you again, Alice's story is only one of many, many, many. And unfortunately, stalking and harassing turns into dangerous, deadly consequences. It turns into dangerous, deadly consequences in the blink of an eye. It's not funny. It's not fun. It is a crime, and it should never, ever happen. It's nothing to play with. It's not a joke. It is very serious. During her relationship, she thought, um, she thought and was led to believe he was looking out for her at first. He was this charmer, right? This charmer. He was in the military. He was a charmer. That's what he wanted her to think. He wanted her to think that, and he wanted her to be dependent on him. Pay attention to the red flags, people. Pay attention to your guts. Many ex-partners will show stalker type behavior. They can't move on. They want to win. They want to be right at all cost. But not everyone becomes obsessive. That's not normal. Normal people, listen to me, y'all. Normal people hurt, but they move on. They don't hurt back. They don't get obsessive. They don't be like, if I can't have you, nobody will. Okay? They just wish you the best. They try to cope. They end up healing, even if it takes years, and they move on. Listen, they say this. We see it all the time on here. They say, hurt people hurt people. You know, I guess that's true to an extent, but listen to me. Listen to Smiley. Okay? Listen to me. What? Let's use your common sense here. Hurt people hurt people. I'll tell you what. Crazy, obsessed fucking people hurt people. That's who, because hurt people. Who hurts people? People want to hurt people to have pain? No, get out of here. Get out of here. That's inhuman. Right. Evil people hurt people. Who wants to hurt people seriously? That's sad. You truly have too much hate in your bones if you want to hurt somebody. I don't care what your situation is. I don't care what you've been through, and I don't care who hurt you. If you want to hurt somebody, or you want to see somebody hurt like you, or you want somebody to hurt, you're an evil son of a bitch. You should never want anybody to hurt. Now, when warned by the police, a stalker, when they're warned by the police, usually 50% of those stalkers stop. But the ones that don't, they become extremely dangerous. Stalking in these cases like this is murder in slow motion. Always, always let somebody know. Tell people. Don't keep it to yourself. Even if you're wrong, tell somebody. Tell a friend. Tell a family member. Tell a teacher. Tell a counselor. Definitely tell the police. Get help. Reach out to national stalking hotlines. Tell somebody. Keep a journal, a diary. Change your routines up. Change your passwords. Make sure and check your privacy settings on your phone. Make sure you do everything to take every precaution that you can and stay safe, because you are important. Okay, you don't want to end up like this. You want to do everything you can to stop it. Tell your boss, don't be afraid. Tell your coworkers. Now we're going to watch this. We're going to watch this just a minute. Let me put this up. Hold on. Hold on. Full credit goes to Vice Life. Hold on. Hold on. Shoot. No, I don't want to scroll. Hold on. Well, I guess it is. Okay. All right, hold on.
Don't try and breathe. Have a shock. Just try and
Please help me.
I know. How old Alice?
She's only 23. I mean, you're this was coming. I'd acted an absolute psychopath.
Alice was one of these people who always had a smile on her face.
She knew the things that were going to make people feel happy.
She always understood what you were thinking, what you were doing. She always knew the right thing to say.
He took her to places.
He bought her presents.
He was trying very hard.
He was a real gentleman.
It didn't seem malicious at the time.
As the relationship moved on, strange things started to happen. She started to lose friends.
He used all sorts of things to persuade her she didn't have enough money, she shouldn't go out.
She started to lose weight. She started to lose self-confidence.
She'd had to talk to him constantly. She couldn't wear what she wanted to wear. She could only wear what he thought was appropriate for her to wear.
He was starting to control her. And all the time, what he was doing was gradually making her more and more dependent on him. That was when his controlling behaviour turned to stalking.
She was worried someone had got into her phone and put some spyware on her Android phone. So I talked her through how she could get it all factory reset. And then things started escalating, which was when Truman turned up at the house.
There was this knock on her window. When she pulled back the curtains, he was outside and he'd just left a box of chocolates and some flowers on the windowsill and was backing off with his hands like this.
Hi there. I just need a bit of advice, really, more than anything. I split up with my boyfriend about 3 months ago. Since then, I know that he's hacked into my Facebook and also my phone. He's been sending me a lot of messages, even though I've asked him not to contact me. And then tonight, he knocked on my bedroom window at the back of my ground floor flat. He's been outside and he's left some flowers and chocolates on the outside windowsill, and he walked off. He's not done anything, but I'm concerned, and my friends have been telling me to call the police. I've been putting it off, but I just feel a bit shaken up tonight.
On the night, he then sent her a couple of voicemail messages. One of those said in it,
I'm not going to kill you. Why would you think I'll kill you?
I wouldn't kill you.
Although he was talking about it in the negative context, I'm not going to kill you. There's definitely a veiled threat.
When he mentions not killing you about 10 times in this voicemail, which is really weird.
So somebody's been issued with a pen so that they can't contact me. However, I've had a letter off them.
So you're reporting like the breach of the pen. What was the nature of it? Was it like threatening or was it harassing?
No, not threatening. It's just saying that he knows I called the police on him and he's had everything confiscated. It says at the bottom he won't contact me. You know, this will be the last I hear from him. But he's said that a lot of times and he never does seem to stop.
After that second phone call, she was so depressed because she thought that the stalking was just going to go on forever.
Alice jokingly said, oh, well, you know, what if he broke into my house and killed me? And I was like, no, that'll never happen. You know, as me thinking this is ridiculous.
He came back on the 12th, and just a bit after he was waiting in his car and she came back from work.
And then Trimon had come and broken into the house.
Climbed in through a window and he cut her throat in the bathroom.
Alice was lying on the floor in the bathroom, covered in blood.
Alice! Oh my God, she's dead! She's dead!
When she rang me up, I said, well, I'm sure the police knows what's happening and you've just got to ignore him. If you keep ignoring him, he'll leave you alone. And of course, that was really bad advice because he was never going to leave her alone.
I have really struggled remembering because obviously I know what I did wrong and I know what I should have said and I know what I should have done and I know that I failed Alice. So, yeah, that's pretty horrible.
If these sorts of things are happening to you, that is stalking. It's a crime. The police have to take it seriously.
The law needs to change so that she does have the protection that she deserved.
I mean, Alice did what she was supposed to do. She did contact the police. She'd reported everything. In Alice's case, Trimon had past history, a restraining order against him because he'd been stalking another girl. Now, if Alice had known that at the beginning of the relationship, it would have changed whether she'd gone into a relationship with him, and it would definitely have changed how she behaved at the end of it. This is still happening, and we've not learned from these mistakes.
It's not just that it's psychologically damaging and horrendous, it's very, very dangerous.
Wow. Let me turn this off. You know, that's just really sad. And there's more out there on her, but it's really sad. I hate that girl had to come in and find her, but I hate even more any of this ever had to happen. And I just hope that anybody that ever has to go through any of this, it don't come to death. You know, I hope people will get more education on this and more help to help someone with this where their lives can be saved. And I don't understand. Listen, I don't know. Somebody enlighten me. I don't know, like, the laws over there. Like, do they not get the death penalty over there? Because I don't think so, but I don't want to misspeak. I don't know the laws there. But what gets me about even the United States, and I see here too, so if somebody says you get life in prison, okay, and they either say with parole or without parole or whatever, okay, I even noticed when people get without the possibility of parole, sometimes they still end up getting a chance to get out. Look, I think they should cut that shit out, the with or without parole. I think if you get life, you should have life. Period. If you get life, you should have life. If they're going to give you 22 years, okay, then give you 22 years. You know, if they're going to give you 10, 20, 30, then give you that. Now, I understand good behavior or whatever, and blah, blah, blah. But if they say life, give you life. I think it's bullshit. It's either one or the other. It makes no sense. Yeah, and then sometimes that can be even, it depends on what they have, and something like that can be even more dangerous when somebody gets obsessed with you, you know? And that's the problem. A lot of times, I do want to say this, a lot of times they're not giving them the mental health or you know, the help that they need. And then it ends up like this, you know. You do have to be aware of your surroundings at all times. You know, you do. You absolutely have to be aware of all of your surroundings. But if any of you, you know, need to talk to anybody, please call that 1-800-799-SAFE number. There's people there to help you 24/7 if you need it, you know. And there's people that need it. You heard in here the other night, if you come in or rewatched or was in the chat, there was people in my live the other night that said people helped them with a plan. They literally had to leave everything, and they literally had them a house and a place for their children, you know, and everything already set up. You have to reach out and you have to ask for help, you know. So, but I appreciate y'all being here and coming in and listening to me and everything. I really appreciate that. Hello, Buckwild. You're late to the party. You're late. You're late. You're late for a very important date. Thank you, Millie. Thank y'all for coming in and, you know, being here. Somebody sent it to me, and the other night it went well, and they, you know, when they sent it to me, I just thought, well, this is very important because people really need to see what's going on and how this could really end up. And I know it's not a, you know, a nice thing or a pretty sight to talk about. But she was somebody's daughter, somebody's sister, you know, somebody's friend, co-worker. She was full of life. And we don't need to forget that these things happen in real life. And it happens everywhere, not just here, not just in the United States. And it's something that we need to keep in the forefront and don't let people forget. You know, people get obsessed for all kinds of reasons. And, you know, it doesn't matter if they're in the military. It doesn't matter if they're rich or poor or male or female. My God, look at Fatal Attraction. I mean, you know, Rebecca Schaefer. I mean, all kinds of things, you know. So just recognize the real and teach your kids to be aware. Yeah. And just always go with your gut feelings. So, all right. Thank you guys for being here. And I will talk to y'all later. And y'all have a great evening. Thank you.